surrounded.
Initiating self-destruct sequencing.
Are you nuts?
My sanity has been questioned. Initiating self-destruct sequencing.
Here we go again.
I'm Luke Skywalker. My father was Darth Vader?
What happens when one of the most beloved relationships in the Star Wars universe gets rebuilt, piece by piece, in the hilarious and unpredictable world of Lego? The answer is Lego Star Wars. The Mandalorian, an all-new animated special that brings Djarin and Grogu back together for another adventure, this time with a completely different visual style, a lighter sense of humor, and plenty of brick-built chaos. The special is scheduled to stream on Disney Plus on September 2, 2026, and it is shaping up to be a fun new way to experience the story of the Mandalorian and the child. The basic idea behind this special is simple but exciting. The Mandalorian and Grogu have already become one of the most recognizable partnerships in modern Star Wars. Din Djarin began his journey as a bounty hunter who worked alone, followed contracts, and tried to maintain the strict traditions of his Mandalorian culture. Everything changed when one assignment placed a small Force-sensitive child in his care. Grogu was initially supposed to be nothing more than a bounty, but Din eventually chose to protect him. That decision transformed both characters and created one of the most important relationships in the entire series. Now that relationship is being rebuilt in Lego form. Instead of presenting the story with the serious tone of the original live-action series, Lego Star Wars, The Mandalorian can take familiar characters, situations, locations, weapons, creatures, and conflicts, and reinterpret them through the playful language of Lego animation. That means audiences can expect recognizable Star Wars moments, but with unexpected jokes, exaggerated action, visual gags, and the kind of playful storytelling that has become closely associated with Lego Star Wars. The special is particularly interesting because it draws from the larger journey of the Mandalorian rather than simply creating an unrelated Lego adventure. The currently revealed information indicates that the special celebrates stories and characters from all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. That gives the project an opportunity to revisit the evolution of Din and Grogu from their earliest meeting through the major events that followed. Instead of asking audiences to learn an entirely new version of these characters, the special can take moments that fans already recognize and rebuild them in a completely different way. At the center of everything is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself. Din is introduced as a professional bounty hunter, but his character develops considerably as the story progresses. His relationship with Grogu gradually changes his priorities. What begins as a job becomes a responsibility, then a friendship, and eventually something much closer to a family bond. The Lego version of Din has the opportunity to exaggerate some of those characteristics, while still keeping the essential identity of the character intact. His armor, helmet, blaster, jetpack, and Mandalorian weapons are all naturally suited to Lego animation, where action can become bigger, faster, and much more ridiculous without losing its connection to Star Wars. Then there is Grogu, the small green Force-sensitive character who became an international phenomenon almost immediately after appearing in The Mandalorian. Grogu may be tiny, but his importance to the story is enormous. He is powerful with the Force, curious about the world around him, and often responsible for some of the funniest moments in the series. In a Lego adventure, those qualities can become even more entertaining. His size creates endless opportunities for visual comedy, while his Force abilities can turn ordinary situations into completely unexpected disasters or victories. The most important element of this new special may therefore be the bond between these 2 characters. The phrase surrounding the project emphasizes that the bond between a bounty hunter and the child is rebuilt. That description is especially appropriate because the Lego format itself is built around construction and reconstruction. The story is not simply taking the Mandalorian and making the characters look like Lego figures. It is using the Lego identity to reinterpret their relationship and their adventures. The special is also being described as an animated galactic adventure filled with iconic characters, unexpected laughs, and action-packed fun. That combination tells us quite a bit about the intended tone. This is not being positioned as a darker continuation of the live-action series. Instead, it is designed to be accessible, energetic, humorous, and enjoyable for Star Wars fans of different ages. The Lego Star Wars brand has always been particularly effective at taking familiar material and making it approachable without completely abandoning the elements that made the original stories popular. Another major attraction is the opportunity to see recognizable moments from The Mandalorian through a Lego perspective. The earliest meeting between Din and Grogu is one of the most important moments in the entire franchise. It established the foundation for everything that followed. In the Lego version, even a familiar scene can feel new because the characters, environments, movements, and comedy can all be transformed. A serious moment from the original series can become a joke, while an action sequence can be exaggerated into something that would be impossible in live action. The project also has an interesting place within the broader LEGO Star Wars tradition. LEGO has previously used the Star Wars universe for animated specials, alternate versions of famous events, holiday stories, comedy adventures, and completely reimagined versions of the galaxy. What makes this particular project stand out is its focus on the Mandalorian and its central duo. Djarin and Grogu have become such recognizable characters that placing them into the LEGO format feels like a natural extension of the franchise. The creative partnership behind the project also brings together major Star Wars and LEGO forces. The special comes from Lucasfilm and the LEGO Group, continuing the long relationship between these two brands. Their collaboration has already produced numerous animated projects, but this one focuses directly on one of the most popular modern Star Wars stories. That combination gives the special a strong foundation, especially because both brands understand how to balance action, humor, recognizable characters, and family-friendly entertainment. When it comes to the cast, the important characters are clear even though complete voice cast information has not been fully detailed in the currently available announcement material. Djarin and Grogu are naturally at the center of the story, with the special also drawing from the wider collection of characters introduced throughout The Mandalorian. Because the project is based on all 3 seasons, fans can expect the LEGO interpretation to have access to a much larger corner of the Mandalorian world than simply the 2 main characters. That opens the door to appearances from familiar allies, enemies, Mandalorians, bounty hunters, creatures, and other characters connected to Din and Grogu's journey. However, it is important not to treat every possible character appearance as confirmed. The most reliable information at this stage is that the special celebrates stories and characters from all 3 seasons. More specific details can be revealed as the release approaches. The plot is similarly being kept relatively simple in the official description. Rather than revealing an entirely new storyline with major twists, the project appears to revisit the journey of Din and Grogu through a LEGO adaptation. This approach makes sense because the appeal comes from seeing familiar events rebuilt through a different style. Fans who know the original story can recognize the references, while younger viewers or casual audiences can enjoy the adventure without needing to understand every detail of the larger Star Wars timeline. That also means the special can move through the Mandalorian story at a much faster pace. 3 seasons contain a huge amount of material, including Din's bounty hunting missions, Grogu's mysterious history, the return of Mandalorian culture, the conflict surrounding Mandalore, and the many characters they encounter along the way. A LEGO special cannot possibly reproduce every event in complete detail, so the most interesting possibility is that it selects memorable moments and transforms them into a fast-moving comedy adventure. The humor will probably be one of the biggest reasons to watch. LEGO Star Wars has a long history of using comedy to reinterpret serious Star Wars mythology. Characters who normally appear intimidating can become ridiculous, dramatic situations can receive unexpected punchlines, and famous pieces of dialogue can be recontextualized. Din's extremely serious personality is especially well-suited to this approach, because his calm, armored presence can become even funnier when surrounded by absurd LEGO situations. At the same time, the action should remain an important part of the experience. The Mandalorian is known for blaster fights, lightsaber battles, jetpack sequences, starship combat, creatures, explosions, and large-scale confrontations. LEGO animation allows these elements to become visually playful while maintaining the excitement. A jetpack malfunction, a chaotic firefight, or a battle involving an enormous creature can be turned into comedy without removing the sense of adventure. The visual identity is another major attraction. Instead of photorealistic environments and live-action performances, audiences will see the Star Wars galaxy rebuilt from LEGO. Ships, weapons, armor, creatures, planets, and characters can all be represented through the distinctive brick-based aesthetic. That creates a strange but appealing contrast between the seriousness of the Mandalorian mythology and the intentionally toy-like appearance of the animation. The trailer and promotional material have already established the basic direction of the special, presenting Din and Grogu in LEGO form and emphasizing action, humor, and their relationship. The trailer is important because it gives audiences their first real sense of how the original Mandalorian imagery translates into LEGO animation. Rather than promising a completely different Star Wars universe, the footage presents recognizable characters and situations with a much more playful personality. One of the most interesting things to watch for in the trailer material is how the relationship between Din and Grogu is presented. Their connection has always been the emotional foundation of The Mandalorian, and the LEGO version can preserve that foundation while adding comedy. Din can still be protective, Grogu can still be curious, and their partnership can still drive the story, but their interactions can now be pushed into much more exaggerated territory. The release date is officially set for September 2, 2026. On that date, LEGO Star Wars, The Mandalorian will begin streaming on Disney+. The timing makes the project particularly interesting for fans because it arrives as another opportunity to revisit Din and Grogu in a year already packed with Mandalorian-related attention. The special is also positioned as something that can be enjoyed by both longtime Star Wars viewers and audiences who simply love LEGO animation. There is also an early screening connected to D23, giving some fans an opportunity to see the special before its general streaming release. That makes the project one of the notable LEGO Star Wars events surrounding the 2026 D23 period. As the premiere approaches, additional promotional material and character information could provide a clearer picture of exactly which moments from The Mandalorian will receive the LEGO treatment. Ultimately, LEGO Star Wars, The Mandalorian is not trying to replace the original series. It is offering another way to experience it. The live-action version gave audiences a serious space western centered around a mysterious bounty hunter and a Force-sensitive child. The LEGO version takes that same foundation and asks what happens when the entire galaxy is rebuilt with bricks, humor, exaggerated action, and a much more playful tone. For fans, That means the biggest appeal may be seeing familiar moments become completely different experiences. The first meeting between Din and Grogu, their adventures across the galaxy, the battles they survive, and the people they encounter can all be transformed into Lego comedy while still preserving the heart of their story. The result could be a special that works simultaneously as a celebration of the Mandalorian and as another chapter in the long-running Lego Star Wars tradition. And at the center of it all is still the same idea that made the original story so successful. A bounty hunter who is supposed to work alone finds himself protecting a mysterious child, and somewhere along the way, the mission becomes something much more meaningful. Lego Star Wars. The Mandalorian takes that bond and rebuilds it for a new kind of adventure. With its September 2, 2026 release on Disney+, familiar characters from all 3 seasons, a Lego interpretation of the Mandalorian galaxy, action-packed sequences, unexpected comedy, and the continuing story of Din and Grogu's unforgettable partnership. This special has plenty of reasons for Star Wars and Lego fans to keep an eye on it. Whether you have followed The Mandalorian from the beginning or simply enjoy the creative chaos of Lego Star Wars, this new animated adventure promises to turn a familiar galaxy into something fresh, funny, and surprisingly entertaining. So when the pieces come together on September 2, the question will not simply be whether Djarin and Grogu can survive another adventure. The real question is what happens when their entire galaxy is rebuilt in Lego. The answer is coming soon, and this time, the way is made of bricks.